This is Hot Mic. Hot Mic on the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 of Hot Mic, ready to rock and roll. There may not be Bison football this weekend, but there is North Dakota high school football this weekend. We're into the semifinals, and Saturday we've got a double dip for you. We can't be more excited about this right here on WDAY Extra. We'll start at noon, Class A semifinal. You may have heard these two teams. Central Cass and Kindred will get things started at noon, and then at 2:30, you may have heard of these two teams, Westhope, Newburgh, Glenburn, and New Rockford-Sheyenne. That game at 2:30. The winners of each of these games go on to the Fargo Dome to play for the state championship coming up in just a week's time. My pleasure to welcome back to our show Westhope, Newburgh, Glenburn head football coach Layne Fluhrer joins us on this Tuesday morning. I think when we saw the bracket come out, at least myself, I'm sure many others, kind of had that circle, boy, if this can happen, that'd be a heck of a football game. And now it's come about. You got to be super pumped for this matchup this weekend.
Yeah, New Rockford is a team that we've had circled on our schedule from the very beginning. They were a state semifinal team last year, just like us. They didn't lose a ton, just like us. They have unbelievable athletes all across the board. It should be a fun matchup. This is what the bracket is supposed to do. Put the best 4 teams at the end, and in the 9-man, I can speak on that. I think it did that.
Layne, I think I've talked to enough coaches on this. Is this the hardest game to win? Because this is the game to get you there.
Yeah, it's the hardest game. There's probably more pressure on this one than the state championship. When kids are talking about it, they just want to play in the Fargo Dome, and this is the one that allows you to do that. In North Dakota, this is also the one. I mean, we're playing in the middle of November outside, and we don't know. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day Saturday, but you just never know. So you got to play all that factors in. You got to be able to, both of us love to pass the football. It looks like Saturday is going to be okay for that. But both of us had gotten ready to be able to get into a ground and pound game, because you just don't know if you're playing in a blizzard or you're going to be playing in 60-degree heat.
Love North Dakota. You probably don't need to remind anybody that's back on your team, this is the round you lost last year. Is that a driving motivation for you and your team, or is that last year's deal?
Well, we've had a sour taste in our mouth. We didn't feel like we played our best in the first quarter against North Prairie last year. They were able to get up on us, and then it basically was a standstill from there. Our boys feel like they have some unfinished business, and we knew the road to Fargo was either going to go through the 3 teams still left, Lemoore, Linton, and New Rockford. We were going to have to beat one of them, or maybe even 2 of them, to get there. So we're excited for the opportunity, and our boys. I was talking to Walker yesterday. He's ready to go today. So
the mood in practice, just give me the mood in practice. Was it excited, tense, nervous, a little bit of everything? What did you get a sense yesterday?
Well, Mondays for us are film days. We go through the scouting report, so we're in the classroom. Try to give the boys a physical day off. But they were locked in yesterday. New Rockford runs a lot of different formations. They do a lot of different motions. So we have to be sound, both offensively and defensively, understanding what we're going to be seeing, and get our boys ready the next 4 days to go to battle on Saturday.
Layne, how much is the state basketball championship, has that winning attitude rubbed off on your football team?
Absolutely. The boys before that had played in big games, and then they went on that magical run in the state tournament last year in basketball. It only helps. The more times your feet are in the fire, the more you learn how to prepare, you learn how to handle the nerves, you learn how to handle, all the extra stuff that comes with it. And so it only helps. And, there's not many teams in the state of North Dakota that can say they won a basketball and a football one back to back. So, the Westhope Newburgh boys have that opportunity, and we're going to see what we can do.
2.5 hours between each town. I imagine you could have everybody coming. What do you imagine crowd-wise it's going to be for your team traveling on Saturday?
Our crowd's been awesome all year long, and we played in some lopsided games a little bit, but our crowd still came, and they've been great. You know, I would one thing in North Dakota that I think you as a sports guy would absolutely love is when we win at home, you should just see all the cars on Main Street. I mean, it's an unbelievable experience. And I know all those cars are going to be traveling to Central North Dakota to see a great battle between two good football teams.
This is Captain Obvious question. In a game like this, you mentioned you didn't like your start. So it was a quick one. Do you need that in a game like that Saturday?
I think both of us are going to look for a stop early. I mean, this has the potential to be a shootout, and we need some stops. And if we can get a stop early, flip the field, take a possession away from them, I think will be a key to our game plan. But I'm gonna speculate that's their same game plan too. We have two of the the number one and number two scoring offenses in the state going at it. And, as the defensive coordinator, that makes things a little bit scary a little bit. But, we got to find a way to stop it and give it to our offense.
What's keeping you up right this week about New Rockford? What as a defensive guy, we have to stop this or else we don't have a chance to win.
They have so many athletes across the field. You can't really focus on one, I think the Walford kid and the Benz kid are great receivers for them. They put them in space, create some matchup problems there. And then the Simon quarterback kid, he can sling it.
Yeah.
And, and all those boys played big roles in the game last year in the state semifinal, and then they got a 230-pound running back, the Engelbretson kid in the backfield. That's a load to bring down. So they got a little bit of everything. We're going to have to be sound. We're going to have to, switch things up on them a little bit, and hopefully they don't get comfortable doing what they do.
Both you and Elliott's team lost in this round. There's got to be some underlying motivation. Like, this is the game. This is the game we wanted to get us back there. That has to play into this, right?
Absolutely. And one of us Saturday is going to get to go, and one of us is going to lose twice in a row. And, that's what we have on the line. It's really exciting. I mean, we've been waiting all year. Our boys have wanted to play big time football and play, and get back to this moment. They have did a great job all year long and not being complacent. And our motto all year long is we play to our standard. We don't play to anybody else that we're playing. And we know in order to beat the New Rockfords, the Lamores, the Lintons, we're going to have to play really good football, and I think our boys are chomping at the bit to do that.
You were visiting off air briefly about this, but this underscores again the rise. I'm watching a 9-man guy play on Monday Night Football last night. I'm seeing Cody Mauck pancaking guys, but the athletes that you're going to have on the field on Saturday, Layne, I mean, this is top-notch stuff that not many, even the classes above you, are not going to have, frankly.
No, and that's what I think makes this so exciting for not just the communities involved in it, but for football in the state of North Dakota. I mean, they have athletes across the board, and so do we.
Yeah.
And they have experienced athletes across the board, and so do we. We have dynamic players that are special, and so there's a lot of things that just make this really intriguing to the average football fan. And yes, they're athletes, but both of these teams play extremely physical, and it's exactly what football is meant to be in North Dakota.
I had a chance to visit with Walker Broughton before the South Dakota State game. We have not chatted on the air since he decided to commit to NDSU. For Bison football fans, and I know you're one of them, what kind of player is coming to Fargo next year?
You're getting a kid that's going to work his tail off each and every day. That's one thing about Walker is we've tried to probably slow him down a little bit with working out and doing all the traveling camps and everything that he does. He just is constantly working at what he's doing, and and you're going to get a hard worker, but you're getting a great kid, and we're super excited. We've had the opportunity to watch him grow from when he was a kindergartner all the way up now, and we're excited to see where it goes. And let the rest of North Dakota watch him grow up too.
What was it surreal to have other Division I coaches walking through the hallways there? I mean, I think you and I texted about it, but what was that like to see this kind of attention on a kid from there?
The biggest one that probably surprised us was Boston College.
Oh,
They found out about him on a Thursday, and they were in Westhope on that next Monday.
wow.
It was and then you got Big Ten schools coming up there. I mean, it's just a different world that we had never been in. Super exciting to be able to, yes, all the eyes are on Walker a lot, but it also showcases our program a little bit and let kind of puts Westhope Newburgh Glenburn on the map. And just like the Volsons did for Belfour, North Dakota, and Drake Animus, and then you got Cody Mock down there in Hankinson. I mean, it's fun. All of us now, we get to turn on the TVs on Sunday, and there's, 16, 17 NDSU players playing in there. I mean, it's fun. And, hopefully we have one that can follow in those footsteps. But we're super excited to watch him grow. I think he's a Bison through and through. I mean, I would have bet a lot of money that's where he was going to end up at. And but we're excited for him, and it's the right fit. And what Coach Polasek has done here recently in this last year, I feel like the Bison swagger's back, and it should be a lot of fun to follow.
I have to ask you this, and I should have led with this, but I was talking with our good friend Mike Zier about the playoff format. You mentioned this, that the top 4 teams are alive and are playing. Did it get it right? Does this format work? Would you like to see this going forward? I know it's not going to, but would you prefer this kind of bracketing in 9-man going forward?
Yeah, I think so. It was fun to play Wyndmere Lidgerwood last week, a team that we've never played against. Makes it extremely tough to be able to have a barometer and what speed what kind of speed they have, because we have nothing to no reference point to it. But it's fun I never got to go against Stringy, and for him to come up in Westhope, and they put up a great fight against us. The top 4 teams should be in the semifinals. You're always going to have a Cinderella. You're always going to have an upset or whatnot. But, I grew up in the day where Velva and Stanley, we were 1 and 2 all year long, and one of us had to be home in the Fargo Dome. So it would have been a lot of fun to be able to play that game in the championship, but that's just not the way it was. So I think this is a much better way to do it, to be able to showcase our 2 best teams in the state.
2 last things for you. Do you have a save speech ready for before the game? Are you that kind of guy, or just, hey, guys, let's just go out and play?
Oh, it'll be prepared. If I've started it, but usually I start them and then it switches probably Thursday night. It'll be a lot of the same. What we've been talking about, playing to our standard. And, we've wanted to be in these big games. We've been chomping at the bit, and now our moment's here. We got to be ready. I know our boys will be ready. And, it's just going to be a fun atmosphere in Saturday in New Rockford. And, it's just going to be a great football game. So anybody, I know we get to be on TV and kind of showcase that a little bit. If you're just an average football fan, this is one I would recommend to come out and watch.
How great is this? Also, you're going up against the guy who played for the Bison. Is he got with Elliott being on the other sideline? Is that how much fun is that for you?
Well, just because of that, they have great culture there.
Yep.
They do things right. They're a very well coached football team, and I know that's probably, I don't know much about it. I know he's a New Rockford kid. I don't know much about his high school coach, but I know he probably takes a lot from what he learned at NDSU, and they're doing something right. It's been 16, 17 years of really good football, and so he has that advantage. Coach Lee and I, we didn't get that opportunity, but to learn that culture. But I think we did a pretty good job of mimicking it.
Most important question. I saw on your Facebook feed, you guys are selling the mini helmets. Can we get one for our set? We need one of those helmets here.
Yes, we will get you one. You know, when you first popped up, I saw you had a bunch there. I was going to ask you if you wanted one. We got to get
Absolutely.
some.
Let's
We got to
do
get
it.
some maroon and gold in there.
It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for the time. Good luck on Saturday. It's going to be a great football game. Appreciate you doing this morning.
Thank you.
Good to see you, bud. Layne Fluhrer, head coach at Westhope, Newburgh, Glenburn. The Sioux will take on the new Rockford-Sheyenne Rockets. And again, new Rockford-Sheyenne Rockets. Let me get that right. That's 2:30. Eric, you can throw that graphic up again when you have a second. So we have a doubleheader coming up on Saturday. The first game is Kindred Central Cass. That's the Class A semifinal. Little backstory between those two teams. And I know Kindred has been unbeatable this year. But if there's any team that can ever get them, it's Central Cass. That's at noon. And then at 2:30 is the 9-man semi between New Rockford-Sheyenne and Westhope, Newburgh, Glenburn. This is the bracket in 9-man, where the winner of this will play the winner of the Lemoore, Litchfield, Marion, and Linton HMB semifinal. These are the traditional powers. I think through the years that we've been doing this show, you've heard from, I would say, every one of these teams has been on our show. So when you get to this stage, you're used to the powers, and I can't wait for Saturday. Pretty pumped about that we'll have a doubleheader for you on Extra Saturday. Kindred Central Cast at noon, and then 2:30 followed up with New Rockford-Sheyenne and Westhope, Newburgh, Glenburn to find out who's going to the Dome. And I'll say it, this is the hardest game. You say, well, you're talking about the game for the championship is the hardest. I don't think so. Honestly, you got to get there. I think when you see the reaction, I'll never forget, I was at when Kindred beat Shanley. Gosh, this is now 7-8 years ago. To get there for the first time, for Kindred to get there. And first off, who they beat, and second, they realized they were going to the Dakota Bowl. It was just the emotion of that was something else. It's the game to get you there. That's the one. And that's what's on the line coming up this weekend. Well, previous to the other classes coming up as the week goes on, we'll dive into 3A, 2A, and Class A as the week rolls on. We're overdue for a break. We got a few emails to catch up on. Steve Lockway joining us in about 10 minutes' time as well. Recap another Wild Dragon win. Hot Mike rolls on. We're back after this.